Ting me, bro. Ting.
Ting me, bro.
Is it 7 o'clock at night and we're drinking coffee? Yes, we are. What are you looking at?
There's like birds fighting.
This is going to be a very imperfect recording because this isn't our house. Actually, we don't have a definite yes or no, but we should be closing on a house next week. At this time, next week, at this time we will have the keys to a house, possibly, or not at all. Who really knows? It's all a big question mark. But this is definitely not a perfect recording because we're on the back porch where there's a bird just flew.
A bird just flew in front of the lens.
Yeah, flew in front of us. They're chirping everywhere. I had to clean off so much bird poop off of this table and chairs.
It's very nature-y.
And our kid is inside, so she might scream at some point. She's not by herself. She's with her grandma. Everything's fine. But we're choosing progress over perfection, which is something that I struggle with. Anyways, that's not what this video is about. 1 year ago, almost to the day, we had our little girl. We recorded the whole thing, we documented it, and I don't know, have you watched since posting it?
Just, a couple times.
You know, I took 6 weeks off. I didn't edit anything and then edited and released this like 3 months postpartum. So technically on YouTube, it's only been up there for 9 months, but it has been a year for us. So
yeah,
I watched...
I was there for the original, so, I remember it more than I need to watch it. But
well, see, and I only remember what we recorded. I barely remember what happened in real life.
That's because you were like a different human.
Because God is good and takes away those memories. But then modern technology ruins it because then I remember. Brings it all back into real realities. I don't know, I've seen lots of videos like this. Have you ever seen? I doubt it. You're a man. It probably doesn't come up on your algorithm, but it's like watching my birth vlog 1 year later.
You edit birth vlogs like
yeah, I do.
In our living room, so
all the time.
I'm very familiar with the concept.
Yeah.
You know?
So it's just rewatching it, and then we're gonna just like add in our commentary here and there as the video goes on of like, maybe things you remember that I don't remember. I don't know if I mentioned this. I definitely didn't. It's in the description of this video, but I added 1 minute of the video for every hour I was in labor because I'm weird like that.
I forgot
I'm an
about
editor.
that.
Ready?
I'm ready.
Loading last not just loading. I can't believe I'm in a Walmart parking lot.
Remember when you backed our car into the mailbox that morning?
Yeah, I do. Sorry about that. We're 13 seconds in. Yes, I do. And I also remember, like, I took a jar of pee with me to Walmart at like 5 in the morning. Didn't think about like, the sequence of events that like, you're going to find out in the car then. Like, I didn't follow the steps through of like, ew, I'm in a Walmart parking lot. I found out I'm pregnant. Like, that's just...
Better than getting pregnant in a Walmart parking lot.
Okay.
I think. I don't know. Really? Are you serious? Yeah. Oh,
it's a boy.
It's a guy! Oh, hello.
Oh, our old house. Look at those big knockers.
Makes it like disappear. Okay, so we did today.
I realized that was just like.
And for the end appointment, we did like the stress test or whatever on Little Nugget. She was great.
So for the past 30 minutes, you've averaged 30-second contractions every 2 minutes, which is frequent. Like that's more frequent. What am I doing?
You're stuffing my pregnancy pillow.
Oh, that was very difficult.
Yeah. I don't think you ever did. I think you threw it in the corner.
Prodromal is such a weird word.
I remember being so depressed because I didn't want it to not be it.
Well, you had a couple of times where you kind of thought it was coming on.
Yeah.
Prior to this night.
Yeah. So what isn't in the video is I remember like I woke up and started the tub to try to like get some comfort because when you're that big and you have to like, you're laying down trying to get some rest. Every time you have a surgery, I had the need, like I could not control it. I had to get up on all fours. Yeah. And so like, it is not a fast motion when you're that girthy. It is not. And so eventually I was just like, screw this. Like I'm not getting any sleep anyways. So I'm gonna like start the tub and just try to relax and breathe through it. And at one point, like I was timing them, but then I still didn't believe that it was happening. And I didn't want to wake you up, even though they were very, very fast, like a very close together for a long duration. So, and then you woke up and were like, why didn't you wake me up? What? We need to call people. And I was like, no, it's fine.
So my thought was like, oh no, they're
they're coming really fast, like the contractions, like there's not a lot of time between them, and like contractions are kind of rapid fire. And I learned later from our midwife and doula that actually, like, once they again start to spread back out, that's when labor's coming. So like they get closer and closer together, and then they
kind of give you a break.
Yeah.
Before. Yeah.
Right? Isn't that accurate?
Yeah,
Am I remembering that correctly?
Every woman is different. So like people who are like, oh, you're 10 centimeters dilated, it's time to push the baby out. It's like, that's not actually true at all. Like, that means like baby could still be way up there and not like progressed and done the turn down the birth canal. So like, just because you're 10 centimeters, the baby's still way up there. That doesn't mean you need to start pushing it out. Like, your body will push it out.
Is it weird that when you talk about babies coming out and doing turns and like, I just picture like PVC pipes, like sewer pipes. No.
Are you saying my vagina is a PVC pipe?
No.
My portal to life is a PVC pipe? PVC, what? Am I saying that right? PVC?
No, I've just been researching
Drainage.
plumbing a lot. Sorry.
Poor Shannon.
Always happens at 2 a.m. to tell people, oh yeah, I'm your baby. You're doing a beautiful job. Hi. Nothing is me. I know. I got my dream birth.
Okay, so what I love about this, I love that like my verbiage is like, I got my dream birth, not like I'm gonna get my dream birth. You know? I don't know, because...
Well, it's not over yet.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
I love your optimism, Leah. Like, good for you.
You got your dream, like, so structurally, like, the pieces are in place.
Yeah, all my dream...
dream
I think what
birth.
I meant was my dream birth team. Like,
Yeah.
I hired
Well,
Brady,
and the
hired
date,
Shannon.
Like, the date worked out.
I
You didn't
didn't-
go longer.
Yeah,
Then,
because
like-
the next day she was going to New York.
Right. Brandy
So-
was going to New York,
Yeah.
your midwife, yep.
But I love my optimism. Like,
Am I checking you out there?
maybe. I had some big old knockers. Look at that big old belly. Also, I didn't even realize I wasn't wearing underwear. You just don't even realize what you're, like, you don't realize what's going on. Look at how squared off my belly gets.
Yeah, I know. That was weird to watch.
Was it?
Yeah, it was very weird to watch. When you'd have contractions, your stomach would just, like, make these strange shapes.
Get your ball. No contractions till I get back.
I wish I would have spent more time color grading. I barely touched any clip. I was just excited to post it. Share water.
Yep. Good job.
Take your breaks in between. Let everything You look so lovely. Why does your face look so nice? Wearing makeup and shit, like making us all look bad. Wow. I feel like I should be in photographs. You're in the background.
Are you recording right now?
Yeah.
I'm doing it.
You're doing it.
That's all. So, to any woman who is worried that she'll be a biatch during labor, like maybe you will be, maybe I was. Was I? Was there
No,
any point where
no.
you're like, you're being
No.
Okay, well that's good. You are yourself in labor. Like, you're not all there cognitively, I guess. Like, you're definitely in your primal mind, but like, I don't remember that, but like, I'm grateful to know that I was like a nice person in my...
Yeah, but I think it, like, but you were in control.
Your eyes are beautiful.
Oh, thanks.
Wow.
How you doing?
Just trying to make another one.
You started it.
They just look really nice in the sliding.
Oh, thanks. You were in control of your experience, though, in a lot of ways.
In a lot of ways, but in a lot of ways,
Well,
not so much.
compared to how it potentially could have been. Like you said, this was the birth of you're having your dream birth.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, you were in a good place. You had that, those good hormones, oxytocin flowing, and, like, I think that makes a difference. I think
This was
women,
curated too, so I'm going to do a video at some point. We were originally going to have a home birth. We switched at 35 weeks to a home birth, which is not usually normal to switch that late. Things were falling into place, and like, who isn't excited when like a last minute change of plans and it all works out?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. But I guess my point is, like, in contrast to your experience, you hear stories of women where, like, it's not a good labor experience. They've got like, you know, what, like 9 medical students standing in the room while they're laboring.
Everybody's
or
checking
getting
her
involved,
cervix.
like, and there comes a point, you know, I'm sure, where the stress and the pressure, physical pressure and emotional pressure, just everything like builds up, and like I would get people snapping and being frustrated.
Oh, yeah.
But I think, again, the experience that you worked really hard to create for yourself and for us probably helped you to have a really positive experience. What a great room. Like that.
Yeah.
So I just want to point out, we're currently living in like literally like a 750 square foot house. This house in this video was like a 750 square foot room or something. It was ridiculous. Like they did an addition to that house. And the
Before
room,
we bought it.
The room was before we bought it, the room was outrageous. And the whole house was a good deal. So it was just like, it worked out. But this room is not a reflection of like how the rest of the house was. But what a great room, bathroom combo. Cause you could, the bathtub itself was really odd, and we always felt it was odd because it had 2 sides and it went right through the middle of the room, but it was perfect for labor. So we lucked out as far as that goes. It'll be a different experience for the next one, right? The next one.
I mean, we're not gonna like rent their house. We could rent their house and be like, hey, can we rent this room?
Are you committing to the next one?
Don't talk to me about that right now.
Oh, I see. All right. Gonna compliment my eyes and then just leave me hanging, huh?
That's not an invitation to impregnate me. If so,
I get my signals confused sometimes.
I love that like Shannon and Brandy were able to like just like they do this all the time, but they were able to just like relax. Like I would want her sitting in our chair, like rocking and being comfortable and feeling at home, going through our cabinets, which is really great thing about home birth.
What you told them to.
Yeah.
Neighbors might start asking some questions here.
Seriously.
This is when you were making sounds I didn't like. You're like cave woman, primal mama sounds.
Look at that square belly. This part sucked. I remember this part so bad. I'm gonna barf it out.
That's so funny.
I feel like I throw Shannon under the bus a lot with this. I'm like, my doula told me to do this. It's all your fault, Shannon.
It's weird, like, so this, maybe you didn't feel this way at all, so I'm cautious to say this, but I feel as though the experience kind of flew by. Like, you, we'll see, that's what I mean. Like, I wasn't.
I'm so happy for you.
It was a different experience for me than it was for you, but I remember, like, you know, whatever it was, you said like 2:30 or something, we called everybody in, and I remember just being so in the moment and so focused, and like at one point I look up and see that it's morning, like there's light inside.
Yeah, I remember seeing that and being like, wait a second.
Right, like you're...
And then it getting dark again and me like, wait a minute.
Yeah, but it just was like, we were focused on the birth and then hydration and fuel and just went through it.
Yeah. What I was going to say, this is the shot of me wearing my Reva shirt. I remember like, you know like how those weird things you fixate on? You don't know. You're a dude. You'll never have a baby. But I fixated on like, you have a baby. You'll never have a baby. I fixated on like, okay, what outfit am I going to wear in labor? Like, how am I going to look? How the photos? Okay, this looks really good with my skin tone. Okay, we'll do this outfit. Lol. I'm in a freaking Reba shirt and somebody changed my bra like 8 times. Like, because I was in and out of the water and they'd throw it in the dryer and then put a different one on me. Like, I don't even... Bro. I ended up with Reba. What a joke. I should do a reel on that.
Don't act like that's not your favorite shirt.
It's so soft because it's so old and it's so cozy, but like that is not what I envisioned. But it's very much me. Those apple tree shakes felt good.
So why did you ask her to not tell you if you were under 7? Just because, like,
Because I would be
emotionally you didn't want to
discouraged.
know?
No, I could tell. I would feel too defeated and be upset.
Yeah, okay.
It's like a weird thing of, I never thought I'd get a cervical check. I'm very anti-cervical checks, but as like a first-time mom, first time going through labor and all this stuff, like I needed more than someone's words of saying, you're doing a good job, because I'm like, you don't know what my body's doing. Like you hear these stories of like, oh, my body failed me and I couldn't, and I'm not judging your specific story. I'm just saying, they say that a lot. And I'm like, well, how do you know my body's doing a good job? What if my cervix doesn't know what to do? And in hindsight, I'll say something at the end about my cervix, but I needed like her to get accurate representation that my cervix was actually opening. I don't know why. I needed proof. Like I need to, like, great that you are verbally encouraging me, but I need proof.
I typically don't get my cervix checked either, so.
These days, man, you could go into the doctor and be like, give me a pap smear, and then they'd shove it. Never mind. We're just gonna continue. Actually, I'll just say it now. The reason my labor went so long, I think, how I told you this? When I was
I don't know. What did you say?
18,
Oh, yeah. You can tell me this.
I went to get my first pap smear, because like that's what you're supposed to do, and you have to go get pap smears, whatever. And I was like, oh yeah, I guess I'm an adult now, I should go do that. And so I did. Long story short, there were some abnormal cells, got misdiagnosed with cancer. It's stupid, long story and annoying. But before that, they had to take a biopsy, so they took a huge chunk out of, I think, a couple different parts of my cervix. But what they don't tell you, and they don't tell you the side effects, the long-term side effects, is it causes long labors, because basically the chunks that they take out for the biopsy don't heal properly, and it can sometimes cover the cervix.
And it creates some scarring, right?
Yeah, it creates scarring.
Yeah.
So then when you go to give birth, you have a damaged cervix.
So, I mean, is a pap smear like a little mini biopsy, basically?
No. So you know those like straw cleaners inside?
Oh.
They go up and they go in your cervix and they scrape and twist.
It's like a really violent
guys
COVID test, because it was the same thing with COVID, like up your nose.
No,
where they had to,
it's not a Q-tip. It's like a scraper.
like a wire brush?
Like I'm talking about, like what I clean the straws with those, but with like bristles, and they go up in your cervix and they spin it, and then they scrape off cells and they test that. And so they did that, and then I had to come back and do a biopsy.
I'm saying blah, because
So
would feel
here's
awful.
the difference between men and women. Women go and do that supposedly once a year. They should do it. We won't get into it now. Guys, when they go in for a ball sonogram,
Don't you
they
ball
numb
sonogram
it.
me?
They numb their balls, because and yet we get like literal cells scraped off.
A sonogram doesn't feel like anything. Do they got to push hard or something?
Yeah.
I was in wrestling. Been there, done that. Not the sonogram, but the... Never mind.
What happened in wrestling? Do we need to go see somebody?
No, I just mean, you just get cracked around sometimes. Let's continue with this.
That helped a lot. Shaking my jaw, forcing myself to be relaxed. That sucked.
Yeah,
They put a towel
I remember
under
that.
my...
Yeah, that
I feel
hurt.
like
But
it
that
takes a
released
lot.
it.
It did.
Yeah, that released the lip.
She said, good work, that did it. Because I think, I don't know how she knew that, but look at my weird shaped belly.
Yeah.
Who's filming you?
Yeah, probably.
I think it was you.
Because the footage looks crappy, so it's probably me. My manual selections.
Yeah. So I don't even remember you being there. So I remember Shannon saying the cameras were making you anxious and not letting you give birth. I'm like, no, I was petrified of tearing. I remember thinking oh my gosh, the closer and closer this gets, that means I'm probably going to have some... There's a truck.
Nice
Big one.
exhaust.
I was afraid of tearing. So I was afraid of letting her come out, because I was afraid of tearing. Lol, it happened anyways and I couldn't control it. But
I mean, don't you think it was good that you were conscious of it and took your time and as much as you could anyway, right?
Yeah, it was probably a couple things. It was the cervix, the scarred cervix, fear of tearing, and her big head. Her big head. But I don't remember you being there. And I remember looking at Irene being I could convince Irene to let me go get an epidural. I could convince her. I know I could. And then I was I don't know if I can do it anymore. And she said, it's too late. She's you're too far gone. And I was dang it, that's not the response I was wanting.
I was just going to comment here that you knew that you would not be in your right mind in the midst of this. So that is part of why people have a doula, and the role that Shannon served was to be the voice of experience, the voice of reason, someone who is very educated in all of this to know, like, hey, I know you want this, but let's try this. Like, let's try. And I don't
And
mean
she
to
would be
suggest.
like, hey, why don't we take a couple more surges here and then move here? And then I'd be like,
yeah, and I don't
okay.
mean to suggest that she would like fight you or contradict you
no.
on anything. Like, she was very like you guys worked together really, really well, but she could be that little voice of like just a little longer. Like, you've almost got like this.
Yeah.
You're making progress, and she could encourage you to continue. Like when you
Yeah.
were sitting on the toilet and wanted to get into the tub because you were making progress. Like, we could see the progress with
Yeah.
her little with the
Her little-
her little head and the amniotic sac kind of just like
bulge.
pushing through.
The thing is like what I knew this going in, and I'm not sure where it cut off. Our camera stopped recording for a second. So what I was saying was that I hated being on the toilet because Shannon, like I hated Shannon for making me be on the toilet, but it's a very effective strategy. But
But not actually hate it.
no, I hate it in the sense of like I know why I'm doing it, but it's not comfortable. And so like just it's just doing hard things. It was hard.
It's a nice night. Everyone's probably got their windows open.
They're like, what the heck is happening? So she would like descend and then go back up after the surge and then descend. And that was like, I knew that happened, but I would get discouraged.
Do it again.
Shannon looks so beautiful. And I'm grunting like a lion. The lions grunt.
So what do you think a lion sounds like? Also, more commentary on this. So, guys, get a doula, because the doula is like as much for dad as it is for mom. Because like for me, maybe even more so than you half the time. Like for me, when my wife is this gets intense. Like this is the first time we've been through this.
Is this the first birth you've ever seen in person?
Yeah.
You're welcome.
But like, when the person you love is in pain and is just going through this experience, like you have no frame of reference to know, is this normal? Is she okay? Is my child okay?
Because it sounds like it's not okay, but
Yeah.
it's very normal.
But having, you can see in the background here, we've got both our doula and our midwife. For me, I could remain calm because they were calm. Like I could feel confident because they seemed confident. And, if they weren't worried, then I wasn't worried. You know what I mean? Like, not that I didn't care, not that I wasn't concerned, not that I wasn't like, I didn't at any point want you to be uncomfortable. But I feel like they were as much for me, in my experience, and like just keeping my head in order to continue to help you as much as I could, as they were for you.
Yeah.
So.
Yep, love it. It looks so weird when it looks weird, but like it was so encouraging to like
To what?
to feel her. Like
Oh yeah.
I knew nobody knew.
Huh?
That's somebody else's head.
I was like, in my mind, I was like, I'm gonna kill him.
Can I see what it feels like with the contraction? Okay. I think this is just some feminine wall on the front. Not so it's, but I want to see what it's like with contraction. Otherwise, right here, like close to arm. Baby right here. Hands on baby's head. And with the contractions, it probably comes down even further. Good. You're doing it. You're doing it in a gentle, nice, safe way for her. I know you are. You had to get to this point. This is how it is. This is how it is. You're gonna get there. This isn't gonna last forever. Yep. Closer and closer.
What were you thinking here?
Crying.
Thought I was weak.
Yeah?
You can do that. Cry. Do a little cry. Yeah. You can be frustrated. You are so strong. Labor's have to bring you to the breaking point.
Did you think at this point you couldn't do it anymore?
No. Well, yeah. Yeah, I didn't know how much longer I could do it. But I also like, I don't know why it's a totally arrogant thing of me to think, but like
You
I
thought
was,
it would just be,
I thought I was
walk in the
exempt.
park?
No, I thought I had prepared enough to know what it would be like, but you don't know until you're in it.
Yeah, it's very hard to do a practice run.
Yeah, you can't. Like, I sat in that tub for hours during, like in the weeks and months leading up, prepping, but you can only visualize how it's going to go so much. I didn't think I would reach a breaking point because I am a very strong-willed, strong person, I feel like. And for me to reach a breaking point, it's very...
What?
Cut. I'm just kidding. What were you thinking?
I was thinking it was a reset, like it was like as much as you were frustrated here, I think you were also probably processing that like, oh, like she is right there. Like this is reassurance and encouragement that like she's really close. And I think it seemed like there was a part of you that was like some relief. You were frustrated, but there was also relief of like, wow, like we're almost there.
Yeah, there was that. There was that like satisfaction of like, oh, like that means she is coming soon, but also defeated of like, oh man, this is way harder than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
And you just don't know until you've done it. You can explain it all day long, but.
Just means you're extra strong because it took you to break you. Yeah. I know this feels weird. I just want to make sure with the contraction that it's...
Man, isn't life just like womanhood so brutal? It's like you're having like not a mental breakdown, but like a vulnerable moment, and then like life or womanhood is just like, too bad, here's a contraction. Suck it up, keep going. And it's just like, okay, it's fine. This is one of my favorite parts. I attribute that to the minerals that I took.
It was a strong sack because, it was just there. It was like a ball that was like trying to push through, come out.
I love this part. Like, I did not realize anybody else was in the room besides me and you. I really thought in my mind it was just me and you.
I didn't really either. Honestly, there were lots of times where we just sort of...
This was a cry of excitement.
Fireworks.
I swear to God, if they start putting on fireworks. They're like, you're going to play weird noises? We're going to play fireworks.
The neighbors are out right now.
Are they really?
Yeah.
Well, it is what it is. They have kids. They probably know what the sound is. What sucks is no one told me, like, so she would descend and then come back up and descend and then come back up. But, like, I would have, like, a brief moment of, like, burning pain as, like the ring of fire people talk about. No one tells you that, like, it can happen multiple times. Like, then she would go back up after the contraction would
ring
end.
of fire just being, like, where...
Like, it's stretching. Like, it's stretching so much that it burns because it's, like, little micro tears.
Yeah.
I bet you wish you bought me a bigger bouquet for Mother's Day. Just kidding.
No, I was going to make a comment about some poops.
You're not going to. I look so hunchy.
celebrating your birth.
She's there.
Oh, she's got a tiny little head. Yeah, but it feels so big.
That wasn't true.
No.
Feel hair?
I could feel like the little bulb.
Yes.
Tiny little head. She's
Oh.
She did not have a tiny little head.
So excited.
What's funny is like I could barely see. Everyone's like, "Oh, it's so beautiful." I'm like, I just see like I could barely see.
Because it's your bag of fluid.
I have this clip. If you want me to share it, I'll totally share it on Instagram, but I don't want to get demonetized on YouTube.
She's a blob of white, tough membrane. See it again? Yeah.
Hey, that's my daughter you're talking about.
There we go, yeah. I think I see hair swirling around in there.
We didn't know her then.
No,
Next is the white stuff.
we didn't. She's such a sassy little thing too.
That's helping you.
We should bring her out here towards the end.
Yeah.
She is in her birthday outfit.
Yeah, she is.
That's why we like to keep them around.
You hear that, folks? Don't let them break your water.
Cause why? What'd she say?
She said, it's keeping, like, it's helping me. So they say, like, when water doesn't break, labor is easier. I don't know, because I've only ever had one. Which Irene says, she's had both. We both had babies born on call. And she said, but one was back labor. So, like, I wonder what a regular labor would be.
I think that's gotta depend though on a lot of things, because I mean, if you look at the amniotic sac as like, this is Dave the doula now, but if you look at
the doula.
the amniotic sac as like a balloon, in my mind it potentially could be a lot easier to get that balloon through a small opening if it's deflated, if it's been popped. Not the balloon itself, but the baby inside. Right?
I don't know.
But I think some of it has to do with the fact that the sac smooths out all the corners and edges.
Yeah.
You know, you end up with this like little slippery burrito thing that's coming through versus like this bony, elbowy little.
Let's see the burrito
critter.
come out.
All right.
This no fear, I think that's what triggered it. Like when she said no fear, like I could release. Hung up at the hips. That's that. I love your face.
Look at her squished little ears.
I was just trying to pull her up to my skin. I wasn't worried about her.
It's weird because even as this little squishy potato, she still has like very similar physical, facial features that she does now. Like,
It's the same baby.
But I mean, like looking at like the curve of her shoulder and her elbow and her hand, and like
You're like, yep, that's
it's the
Leo.
same kid. I'll
Yeah.
also point out that it makes a lot of sense that she was hung up at the head and at the butt because
Yeah, she has.
she's got a lot of that.
Yep. I remember like as she was like starting to come out and I could like feel. In hindsight, I wish I would have like recorded us the next baby. We will record do family vlogging right after, even if it's just for us and we never share it.
Yeah.
Because like we were in such a oxytocin high. Anyways, that's not what I'm talking about. But like as she was coming out, I swear it was like, I don't know, this is a camera speaks, but like it was like God made me like literally come into focus because it was all like, it felt like blurry and like a haze. And then like when she like started to come out, it was like God was gracious to be like, and we're coming into focus so you can see it and remember it. And I do remember like being like, what is happening? Like this is it. Like this is a human coming out of me.
I bet the adrenaline pumping through your body at that moment was
Yeah.
just like outrageous because I mean I think is it fair to say like did you forget about the pain and like
Oh yeah,
forget
immediately.
about like, you're just focused 100% on her.
I was just so glad it was over though. Shannon said she's big. I love your face. Oh.
I was proud of you. Still am.
She had no burnix. None. She had a little on her head. Here's how much that is undervalued. Hold on. Like, do you see how like sweet and calm she was? Like, I'm gonna dunk this in the water and lay it over the baby. Not to be like, I'm gonna steal your moment. I've been in so many births where doctors are like, if you look at it later, blah, 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 blah. Like it is so like moment ruining. It's like get your freaking ego out of the room. Not to get all, but like how gracious and calm. Like they're not interfering. Their hands aren't in there. It is me and Dave who have touched that baby. Nobody else. And Shannon has cleaned off her mouth and like. The baby's
That's
doing
true.
what it knows to do is to cough it out and
No,
cry.
you
Cry
can
it out.
You can see in the background like they're just
They're sitting back.
sitting
That's
and
how
watching.
it should be.
Yeah,
Unless
you're right.
medically genuinely medically necessary. But I just love her calm demeanor.
Good luck, born and calm, that's for sure. Oh yeah, we had to take it off of her face.
Were you like processing anything they said right there?
No.
Because
Literally don't. Does it look like it?
like I'm not familiar with this person.
No. Like
You've kind of got this like just glossy-eyed like
there's so many hormones happening
Yeah.
in that moment.
you just seem a little bit
I'm in shock.
in shock. Yeah. Totally get it. Like I totally understand it. But as I'm looking right now, I'm like, I'm not sure.
Look at how dilated my eyes are. You
Yeah.
can't even see the green.
Yeah. Well,
Like my pupils are like, hello, sailor, I'm here. What's funny is I remember thinking like, oh, that didn't take that long. Like, but then also being like, ouch, that was a really long time. Like it was like a weird, being like, oh, like her birth didn't take long. But then being like, oh, that was, it was just weird.
it took a long time.
It did.
You did it, baby.
I remember that first kiss. Oh,
You're so nice and pink.
I thought she was talking about the water. I was like, what?
Thank you.
Oh, God, you guys. You guys did it.
I'm sorry it took so long. I'm so
She
sorry.
worked for it. She's worth it. Look at her. Baby.
She's still very vocal. She's still like has lots to say.
Yeah.
That's Leora.
So, correct me if I'm wrong, but I remember us having like 2 to 3 names going in. We were like leaning towards Leora. We were like, let's like meet her and see what we think. And then like she was born, and then I apparently just took the liberty and was like, this is Leora. We've decided a name.
I think we were.
We were more towards Leora, but
Had we not on a?
no.
I think I was. I was on board with it.
Okay, great, because I apparently just like decided.
Let's change it. Let's just.
No, she's our Leo.
We have
a whole song about her.
We've not hit the 1 year mark yet.
I'm in love with you now, but I remember being just so in love with you.
That was the hardest thing I've ever done.
Right? Just
Word.
can't expect that. You just can't.
Oh,
It's rare.
You're a chubby monkey.
Oh, look at that grumpy face. So, yeah, 9 pounds, 10 ounces, 21 inches long, a 15-inch head. 14 is considered large.
So, I just
What?
want to mention, like, she for a long time had, like, no neck.
Yo.
It was like shoulders and big head.
Yeah.
And then I remember both of us, like, one day, she was like a turtle coming out of a shell. Like, it was just as if suddenly, like, look at this neck and this jaw and this chin. And, like, she's, like, looking around. And we're just like, where did that come from?
Oh, she's so grumpy.
Just like mom. Says I had to work too.
Oh, she's so pretty.
So pretty.
You'll get that.
It's okay. Yep, she'll get it. She'll cry it out.
Thanks for being here. Oh my God, thanks for being here. Thanks for. Oh my God.
Happy birthday. Oh my God, you did it.
It, honestly, it is just as much our birthday as it is her birthday. Like,
Big day for all of us.
big day.
I'm so proud of you.
Yeah, I'm proud of you.
We can use these two for that.
Well, we did this together.
Oh yeah.
Look at your big ass. Wait, you just stepped on record, I think.
Oh, where is it?
It was the sack.
It should just be from
I feel like it's being tugged. Okay.
I think it's
This is my favorite part.
Yeah, it's probably the sack.
very
Which might be
slippery.
still.
Very slippery.
It was slippery. I was worried because I didn't want either of us to step on it and slip.
You're just gonna sit and enjoy her. You can try to feed her if you want.
It's supposed to be
Breastfeeding
slippery.
does help. Listen to come if she's willing. And not don't just
My goal was to get through this whole birth and not have anybody see my cooter till the end. That was a joke.
Yeah, we saw all your photos.
Yeah, we saw all your.
We did.
bleeding is good. Bleeding is good. We're gonna be watching it though because your uterus has worked long and hard, so it might be tired. So we're gonna be really focused on your
What's
bleeding
funny is
for a
I'm
little
very
while.
awake now. Yes. So it's like a light.
She told me you'd be very late.
And he was.
That's not true though.
Well, so it's true that you were very awake. You had
It's
this like
true.
surge of adrenaline.
Yes, but she said, and she won't be able to sleep tonight, and you will, and that is the opposite. They left. I nursed her, and then I was like, I just zonked out, and then he
But I get it.
You
worked
were also
so
up
hard
just
for
as
so
long,
long.
but
I was up
my
as
body
long,
was doing.
Yes, but I was doing a lot less.
But you stayed up just watching her, right?
Yeah, I remember having this moment where like they had left, our reinforcements had left. You had passed out, and I was just like, "What do I do now? Like what? Like oh no!"
Because they were
Both-
like, "Hey, massage your uterus every hour or so," and I was just like, "Sure, good night."
Yeah, I just it was interesting. Like that was a moment of like I
Now
remember
I'm
that where we're like,
responsible for two
okay,
very
now
vulnerable
yeah. It was kind of scary for a minute because like our entire relationship, you had been, you're a fully independent other person, and you had just gone through like a very traumatic thing, just physically traumatic. Not like you were in a good place, but like just physically, it's a lot for your body. And you had run a marathon in every sense of the word, but so I was worried about you, and I was like responsible for you, and I needed to make sure that you weren't still bleeding or having other issues or whatever. And then of course I'm worried about our brand new child.
And she kept she was still puking up some amniotic fluid too,
Yeah,
and I
just
remember
spitting it up.
Just spitting it up.
But
yeah.
I remember thinking too, like if there were issues, something happened to you, then it's like, well, by default, something happens to her, and like it's just, I don't know, it was just this sudden recognition of how important it was to like just for me to be like on, and so I was on, and I didn't.
I just
couldn't
passed
sleep.
that torch, and I was like, "Good night, everybody."
Yep.
Thanks for holding down the fort. I do remember him at I don't know, in the middle of the night. I would like to say 2, 3 in the morning. Apparently she was crying. I didn't know, and he was like, "Hey, I think you need to feed her." And I was like, "What? Feed who?" "Oh yeah, I had a baby." And then nursed her.
By the way, not much has changed. Like, I'll wake her up in the middle of the night, she's groggy, like, "You need to feed our baby." She's like, "Oh yeah, I had a baby, okay."
That's not true anymore.
Kind of.
I love this.
You did the hard work.
She did do that too. Like that's the way to put it. Like Irene filled in the gaps, like in every way, whether it was
Ordering food.
you know, because she knows us so well and she's family, and so like she was like a host at times when I couldn't be that. She was like your doula at times, you know, moments when you needed it. She was running the camera. She was like giving me encouragement. So yeah, for sure.
That's what you should expect out of a provider, is to be respected. Like, I don't know how many times you should go use the Doppler, and she'd be like, is it okay if I get some heart tones right now, or get like use the Doppler? And I'd be in the surge and she'd wait. And then she'd be like, hey, is it okay? And then either I'd say yes, or I'm pretty sure it was me. I would say yes, or maybe you would say
No,
like,
I never.
No?
I don't know if it's okay.
Oh,
It was
okay.
you.
I don't know.
But she would always.
I don't remember.
I noticed that too. Like she was always asking, and that was great. Like again, I will say that like dads, like my experience of this, having this kind of team, was I never felt like I had to defend my wife. I never had to I never felt helpless. I never felt things were happening to you and I didn't know, like, and I was scared and I was this and that.
Push aside.
Instead, because of our doula and our midwife, I felt empowered, and I also felt like I could sort of just like surrender you to them because I knew that they had your
seen
best
it,
interests in heart.
And they've done it themselves.
Yeah, and they're moms themselves. But we've not done it any other way, but I could see scenarios where dads would feel sort of emasculated and helpless, as opposed to my experience was that like I got to be hands-on. I got to feel a sense of being able to like resolve your pain and mitigate some of the negative feelings that you were having, some of your discomfort. So I would say, like, you hear a lot of talk about moms wanting doulas and midwives. I recommend it 100% too. Like it was such a good experience. I know for you, but I think unexpected that it was so good for me too.
Yeah.
So
Not every midwife, every doula is fantastic, but in our case, like, they listened to our wants and needs beforehand, and it wasn't like, oh yeah, honey, we'll see when we get there. We'll see what you say when we get there. They had just as much faith in my body as I had in myself. And even when I lost faith, they were like, nope, this is very normal. We've seen this. Unlike sometimes within a hospital, when you have a birth in a hospital, they're like, you know, they have a golf game to get to, or they use like medical rhetoric, and they're like, oh, like, I don't like your numbers. It's like, okay, you don't like my numbers, or is that evidence-based medicine that these numbers are shown to cause, you know, some type of bad outcome? Or then people saying, or doctors saying, like, it's our policy, it's our hospital policy. Their policy is none of your business. Like, you don't have to do jack if it's their policy. Like, it's not. Bird just distracted me. Like, we didn't have that. We could trust our team, and we also trusted them enough that if those two said, hey, I'm concerned about this, we should go to the hospital, I knew that they had my best interest at heart, and I could trust their discernment of the situation, because they've seen so many births and so many natural physiologic births. So if they said it, I would be like, yep, my body, like, I've done everything I can, and it's a wonder to actually trust your provider. Shannon and I are still friends to this day. I bully her frequently to be my friend. So.
love you.
I love you.
She's bold, for sure. And on her own terms.
My little love.
I miss her. Let's
I
go
miss
get her.
too. Go get her. Bring her out here.
Stay. It's your mama.
Hi, Mama.
Look who we got here.
Look at that camera.
What's that?
Look. We got big girl.
She's so big. And she's wearing her birthday outfit.
Her Nana
Which is
got her
different.
this birthday outfit.
Which is different than her birthday suit that you all just saw her in.
Yeah. Hi.
What are you doing? She's bold.
Any parting thoughts, David?
Man, it's weird. I still just process every day that, that we did this. We made this little thing. Mm-hmm. It's wonderful. Don't regret it ever. It's nothing I'd change,
Thanks for believing in me to do a home birth, because we originally were going to go to a birth center, and I've always wanted a home birth. I don't know where that came from, but I wanted a home birth, and he was like, I don't know, I'm just not comfortable. Let's like do a birth center first, because it's a nice like middle ground, just to like see how it goes, and then maybe for the next one have a home birth, and then I'll do a video on it later. But the turn of events that happened to where we ended up switching. But like, I'm so grateful, because so many of the comments on the birth video are like, my husband never let me do that, and it's like, I get it to a point of like, you definitely created that kid together, and it's going to be equal or there's going to be both have responsibilities through the years to come. But like, it is very much a lot on the mom. And like, if you don't feel safe in a hospital and your husband isn't on board for you to do a home birth, you have to like have like a frank conversation. That's what we had to have. Like, I don't know that this is going to be the best thing for us. I don't think my oxytocin isn't going to be flowing at this location. I think it's actually a safer decision to go home so that I can feel comfortable and safe and actually have the outcome I want. So thanks for
sure. Yeah. I mean, thanks for helping me come to that same conclusion. Like, you didn't force anything, you didn't demand anything, you helped to
It was at
educate
35
me.
weeks where like, I feel like we were super educated at that point and could say birth works most of the time. Let's trust it and hire professionals in case. She's playing with her fishing rod. I'm all for home birth. I do think people should hire somebody who's educated in the situation so that they can be there in case those complications do occur. Because I did receive Pitocin. I did receive a fundus massage because my uterus did work long and hard, and I needed her there to be able to make that decision. I made the decision because she asked me for my consent to do the Pitocin. But I needed her to know that that was something that was needed.
And I think you wanted to get through. You wanted to actually get through the birth before Pitocin. Like, introducing Pitocin afterwards was.
Yeah. So Pitocin is only FDA approved for postpartum hemorrhage. It is not FDA approved for the induction of labor. So, and Pitocin is synthetic oxytocin. It does not work the same as oxytocin. So, anyways. All that to be said, I'm freaking grateful for this kid. She's also helped, like this video, I didn't think would ever get this many views, but I'm really proud of it. Obviously, it was like the hardest thing I've ever done, and it's nice to see that women comment all the time. Like, this is the best best birth video on YouTube, and I'm like, thank you. It was really hard, but I really appreciate it. But
it is good. I mean, you, and in case anybody doesn't know, like, you edited that video. You put that video together. So
I birthed her and I edited the video. That was a lot of footage. It was 26 hours of footage. So
and
actually
multiple
multiple cameras. That's it. That's our 1 year review. We're so grateful for our little Leo.
Anything you do differently?
So thanks for being here. I don't know what to say. Adios, and I don't know. Goodbye. I don't know. See ya.